Brahmakumaris.
Om Shanti and welcome to Awakening with Brahmakumaris. You're with Sister Jenna from Washington, D.C. and myself, Carolyn from Chile. And we're in a conversation series about the amazing wisdom and philosophy that is the body of knowledge of Rajyoga meditation. So where we're up to, this is our 5th.
I believe it's the 5th, yeah.
Wow, time goes quickly.
Time flies fast, yeah.
So we're on our 5th session today, and now we're going to look in this session at that very controversial topic of karma. It always opens a whole lot of questions that some can be answered and some we just have to say, well, it's the cosmic law of justice. You can't see the beginning and you don't know the end. But we're going to explore that today. So, Sister Jenna, that's kind of recapped everything? Have I left anything out?
I think it was fine. Good morning. You know, the law of karma is like a kokri. What they call it, kokri?
It's a boomerang. Yeah, I'm Australian, so we're boomerangs. Yeah.
And I think that it's a very optimistic philosophy because if you think about all the good that you do, it's just a matter of time till it all comes back to you.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because I know in the West, for example, when you talk about karma, people think,
Drama.
Like it's heavy and, you know, you're going to get some bad thing coming back at you. And they only think of it in terms of negative karma. But it's not the case, is it?
I don't look at karma philosophy as just negative karma. In simple terminology, karma is just actions. So apparently all the actions that we perform, it has a feeling in it, or we gain a feeling from it, and that gets lodged in the soul as a memory. And that karma tends to determine the way that I think and feel and then, eventually act out on. Now, there are times that things happen to us and we're not quite sure why this is happening to me. Why me? I did a wonderful talk in New Orleans the other day. It's called Why Now? Why Me? Why Not?
That's good. Why now? Why me? Why not?
Why, yeah. And then it was interesting to hear how there were different ways in which everyone looked at that conversation. Why me? Did this have to happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
And why now it had to happen to me? And then, of course, when they got to the why not, it made everyone think again. What do you mean why not? There are things that are destined to happen to us. There are things that are what you would say preordained. And I don't want to go into try to decode that right now.
That's tricky because there is a whole group of people who don't agree with that as a basic premise.
That's another conversation, but I think it's very important to know. Whether you believe it or not, I think it's important to know that perhaps this might be predestined, but we don't remember. And we are playing out our part as it unfolds. Now, the whole philosophy of karma is that, you'd say, for example, the soul takes a maximum of 84 lives, minimum of 1. From the moment the soul is a child, as it grows into an adult, it sees things, it hears things, it says things, it does things, and it feels these things. And it's all accumulating and being left inside of me. Now, let's say that I might have hit someone I'm just being cute. I might have hit someone 5 lives ago. And you're the one that I love the most, and all of a sudden you turn around and hit me. I go, well, why'd you do that? Why me? Why did you do that now?
I'd say, why not?
And then you might go, why not? And then what happens is that I don't remember what I did 5 lifetimes ago that would warrant you to have had that impact on me. One day I was ironing 7 yards of sari, and I remembered thinking, you see, what's beautiful about Rajyoga is that when your mind is free, you're thinking about your journey, you're thinking about how to keep changing yourself, you're thinking about how to get those soul-conscious qualities back up into the soul as an expression. So one day I was ironing, these saris, and I don't know what happened, but I was just thinking about all the people that I must have given sorrow to in my past life.
Given sorrow to?
And I remembered saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't know better. Please forgive me, I didn't know better. It's not that anyone came in my mind as such. I wasn't going through a hard time. No one did anything to me. But somehow I was thinking that there are times that I do encounter a relationship or a situation which is not going the best way to my advantage or to even the other person. We're just not harmonizing. There is a strain in the relationship. Sometimes you don't even tell someone something bad, but you can feel there's a strain with the person. You can't be yourself. That's also karma.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it's karma. But I remembered when I kept saying, I'm so sorry, please, to all the souls I've given sorrow to. Forgive me, I really didn't know what I was doing. And there was something very powerful in me doing that. Because it wasn't at a time when someone was giving me sorrow. It wasn't at a time when I was giving someone sorrow. It was a time of awareness. It was a time in which I just had a moment where the thought emerged about, what did I do in my many lives? Did I give sorrow to many people? And if I did, I'm so sorry. And I did it with sincerity.
Yeah, not as a point of information or knowledge,
I
but
did it
from the heart.
with real sincerity. And if I were to look at my life today, I have a tremendous amount of healthy, very beautiful relationships. And I have some that are still challenging. I have some that still won't allow me into their lives. And there's some that still challenge the life that I live. And yet I see it for what it is. It is an account. An account means it is something perhaps that I owe. So let's say I'm earning $10 a week, but I'm in debt for $20 a week. There's going to be some suffering or some issues. Let's say
certainly some stress.
There'll be a lot of stress. So let's say the bill collector keeps calling you on the phone. You owe $20. If you don't have philosophy of karma, if you don't understand that God is the purifier and the ocean of love and who absolves my past iniquities, if you don't have knowledge of the soul, you could think that that's about the end of your world. My credit is ruined. The bill collectors are calling. They're going to take this away. The house is going. I'm going to be on the road. And your whole consciousness gets engaged in that karma of the fact that you spent more than you earned.
So does that mean then, at a very deep, unconscious level, the soul lives in fear?
I think for many of us, because of attachment, the soul lives in a great deal of fear. Ego also supports fear in the soul. But the point that I was trying to share is that when you have knowledge, awareness of these three faculties that we've spoken about in the past few days, is that if the bill collector does call, if the in-law does treat me unkindly, if my child is not matching my values or my vision, if my spouse is not cooperating with the things that I need as a human being, then I put it into the account of karma, but with understanding, not with guilt, not with shame, not with blame.
And not with the ego, not with the arrogance either that goes, I'm right and it's just karma.
Not karma like that.
Yeah.
I do realize that, why is this happening to me? There must be a reason why you're not letting me into your heart. There must be a reason why you're just not letting me in. Now, it doesn't mean that I do everything in my life or in my world to try to let you let me in, but I turn my attention back to myself. And I know there must be a block. There must be some body conscious vice or algae there that is creating this reality for me. And because I have the knowledge of that, then I turn that energy to myself to work out that issue through my relationship with Baba. Because why we need to remember Baba so much is because Baba absolves the past sins, the past negativities, the past karmas that I'm in debt to or in debt for.
Okay, I'm not going to let you go past that because this is a hot topic.
Which one?
Exactly what you're just talking about. Being in relationship with Baba, and Baba absolves those. because I think it's a great statement, and obviously you've got a lot of experience under it. And I have thought about this a lot and experimented a lot, but it sounds really a lot like go to confession as a Catholic or do a bit of puja.
Not at all.
Yeah, so God absolves because
Not at all.
How does that work?
Because when you went to puja or you went to confession or what have you, it wasn't necessarily with the deep understanding that the past was getting erased. Many cases we went because it was a habit, it was a system, it was tradition. But when you start to become a yogi and you connect your mind and your heart and your whole being, knowing that there's some stuff in the soul of the past which no doctor can get out of you, no spouse can get out of you, no child can get out of you, no psychologist can get out of you. Your connection to Baba gets it out of you. Well, only a very sensible person realizes, I've got to do this. I don't want to live in a bondage anymore because of my past. We don't know how to erase our past. Through the yoga with Baba erases our past.
How?
Through the silence that we experience, one. How? I have knowledge of where the Supreme Soul resides, the fact that I came from that Supreme Dimension, I'm going back there. How? Because I've practiced, and it's important to practice until the memory comes back. How? Because the soul is eternal, and the soul is unlimited in its own sense, and it has a lot of space. And presently it might have space of some bruises or some debts of the past. You want to refill that space with what is true and what is noble. How? You keep allowing triggers of what is positive and good to come to you. We have this amazing little meditation museum in Washington, D.C. I'll never forget the day we opened that. The contractors were still trying to get the lights up. There was paint, there was wood, there was chaos. It was 3 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
And the media and the friends were all coming at 6. And there was someone in charge of getting the whole thing together. But one sister came to me and picked me up and said, Sister, I think it might be nice if you came to the museum. So somehow there was just a gut feeling, I better go. When I went to the museum, everyone was there doing the best that they could do. But you could see they were feeling, we're not going to be able to do this by 6 o'clock. But when I entered that space, I knew we were going to do that at 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I took Baba with me, and he's the magician. And he's the one that destroys obstacles. I didn't go with the karmas of my own inadequacies or my own limitations in the space. I could have walked into that space and saw my limitation. Carolyn, you would not believe what the space looked like. There were things hanging. The air condition was out. It was summer. It was 90 degrees. There was dirt on everything was a chaos. I went in knowing that I went in with Baba, and that this meditation museum was to reveal Baba is teaching the soul. That the Supreme Father was the teacher, and he was getting ready to liberate you from your suffering. And because there's this subtle connection with this awareness in the soul, it has changed my karmas. And it changed everyone's karmas who was there. I'll tell you what was very powerful about that day. By 6 o'clock, I think it was 15 minutes before 6, the air conditioner went on. They don't know how it just got back on.
Yeah.
The electrician was still asking for light. It came on. The first person in the museum was a reporter from the Washington Post. She had to walk around the ladder as the electrician was trying to put that light up. Mm-hmm. And in my heart and in my awareness, that was not my karma. I'm with Baba. And it's my relationship with Baba that's going to distract everyone away from what was going on. Now, I have to tell you that by 6 o'clock, everything was in order.
Impeccable.
As if nothing was happening before that. Now, that was karma because I did not believe I was coming from a deficit. I believe that the ocean of everything is who I'm having a quiet, very profound relationship with. And when I need Baba, or when I need to use Baba, I use him, especially at a time of need. Carolyn, that place was immaculate. At the end of the program, I told all my friends, you all would not believe, just 2-3 hours ago, this place was like a tornado. And they looked at me and go, what are you talking about? There's no way the place was a tornado. The place was impeccable. Why I'm sharing this story with you is that there are times that we look at karma too much on the negative. It is an extremely powerful tool to apply in one's life if you believe.
I completely agree. You know, my father has a lot of, my dad who's in Australia, he's grown up with a lot of sort of anxiety around financial security, even though he doesn't have to worry about that, right? But it doesn't matter how much, he still has this insecurity. He's done a lot of work and changed that to some extent. But he always wants me to have, you know, a good retirement package, you know, investments. And I say to him, you know, my karma is my superannuation. My karma is my retirement. There is no doubt in my mind that if I look after my actions now, if I make sure I'm on the give and not on the take, if I karmically look after well-being, if I look after my world, the result has to be good. And because I'm in this relationship with God, which is, you know, taking me out of the old story. And yeah, I still have to settle. Like, there is chaos, but I don't believe the story of the chaos, and it passes quickly.
That's excellent.
Rather than absorbing myself in the story, becoming hopeless, and then acting from that hopelessness, which generates more chaos. So the story, Baba, lifts me into a completely other story, which is eternal, untainted, pure and powerful, masterful. And he says, believe this because this is the truth. Not only in words, it's in experience. And then this story comes and it goes.
This is very true. There was a beautiful woman that came to the center, actually right before I left. She was going through a lot of challenges in her relationship at home. And after, I think it was about a week after doing the course and introduction to Baba, her whole face changed. And she came to me right before I left and she said, you know, Sister Jenna, the only thing that I'm concerned about is that I don't want to grow lonely. I don't want to grow old alone. I go, why are you thinking so much in advance? Why don't you just really appreciate the fact that you've got your power and your sovereignty and your freedom back now? Don't make the same mistakes you did before. Put the best in what you know now to be true in your actions, and trust and have faith and believe it's going to work out and you won't grow old alone.
Yeah.
And I feel that if we begin to use karma in a more positive way, where we become more responsible in using the goodness that we know, that the subconscious actions will erase or negate, so to speak, the body conscious karmas that are still in the soul, then if I keep using my soul consciousness in action, I will somehow reduce the intensity of my negative karmas. Now, I'm not saying that challenging situations won't come to you. They will. But somehow they won't have that much of an impact on you. Back to the story about the creditor calling you. So after a while when they call you, because you have knowledge of all the points that I outlined earlier, is that you pick up the phone with courage and faith and you tell them, hey, listen, you know, I don't have the $20 to pay you. I've got $5. I'll send you $5 a month until I pay you off. Thank you. Please don't call me back again. But only when you've got the power of that pure karma in you and that relationship with Baba will you not be under the gun of constantly running from your karmas, which is what happens to us. At some point you have to stop running and face them and go, but that's my past. But I have strength now to transform that. It might still be around me, but my internal ability of looking at it from a different perspective, I have control of that now.
Absolutely.
And so this is the time that I can perform good actions, which are actions performed in soul consciousness. I also have this method called elevated actions, actions performed in Baba's remembrance. Then, of course, we've got negative actions. When I perform actions in the vices, in body consciousness, in algae, we must understand this as a common principle in law, that if I keep doing that, I add to the fact that I don't feel as happy and free as I should be feeling.
There's consequences.
There are consequences.
It's just simple
and
formula.
The quicker you accept them, the quicker you can move on. I don't believe in the blame game. I think it wastes your time. I think blame anyone for anything reduces your capacity to love, and it wastes a lot of your time. I don't think there's any need for you to be guilty, because things are happening for a reason. The drama is accurate. We should talk about that at some point, because
well, it's part of this.
The knowledge of the drama is so important to know, but it's accurate what's happening to you. Remember my story about ironing?
The knowledge of the drama. That's a statement needs unpacking.
I think we have to talk about that in another show. I think it's too deep of a topic to brush on in today's discussion, but I feel that just the knowledge of knowing that whatever is happening to me is happening for a reason. And if I accept and believe it's beneficial, that's so important in changing and reversing my karmas. It is so important. The Himalayas could be falling down, but I could see part of it that's not.
Yeah.
But if my karmas are just riding me and I just think, oh, everything is negative, everything is bad, oh, why is this happening to me? Why me? Why now? I'll see the Himalayas falling and I'll be like, oh God, why did the Himalayas fall on me? And I won't even see there was a part of it that didn't fall. Mm. So we have to transform our awareness, our perception, our consciousness. Please, I beg the audience, it's no longer time to go into this one, that one, you, he, did this, that, why me, why, how. It's time for me to begin to use the good karma and the goodness that I know to be true in my life. The problem with us, I think, is that we become impatient. We become impatient and we want it to happen immediately. It won't happen immediately. It didn't happen immediately for me to go into sorrow. It took time. It will happen in time for me to get my power, my freedom, and my happiness back.
And it will take time to resolve the debts that you've got.
It takes time to resolve the debts, but what I'm working on a lot now is that, okay, if I owe $20, I go find myself a job that I really enjoy that pays me $100. I really don't care about how much I owe anymore. I'm really working on accumulation right now.
Sure.
And the more that we practice accumulating good deeds with your mind, keep donating good wishes. Don't stop giving good wishes to people. With your money, give to good causes. In your skills and your qualifications, offer it to something or something that's good. Build. Keep building. Keep offering your life, not out of compulsion, but out of a knowing that it comes from the heart of the soul to give of itself, not to keep taking so much.
Right. Okay, you have unpacked a huge amount there in the karma. And, it's a big topic, and we didn't get to the hot questions that usually we get to. But perhaps we're going to do that in some other session. This is powerful, powerful formula for how to transform the way that you live, transform the way that you feel about living. It gives you the power to understand you are the creator of your own destiny. When you understand that, okay, so there's some debt, but the soul can start to accumulate now, as Sister Jenna said, through contributing, contribute all that you have from your heart in all areas that you can. Not because you're afraid of, the ensuing debt, but because it makes a life abundant. And when you do that, you turn the law of karma around from a heavy sense of, what I owe, to a tool that enables me to live in a flourishing way, in a truly prosperous way in life. And knowing that when I've got this connection, this immortal, unshakable, beautiful connection with the Source who is my everything, then I have access, as Sister Jenna was saying with her example of, the opening, that you don't have to face the traumas and the tragedies and the chaos of life alone. You go in that consciousness with that one's karma combined with that. And the story is not your karma. Your story is unlimited and you have access to everything that the Supreme offers. So it's a beautiful change and a really wonderful twist on this old theme of the law of karma. And it's vast. Experiment with it, play with it, make it your own, and see what happens, because it's your life, it's your karma, and it will be your drama. And we're going to come to that some other time. Sister Jenna, thank you again for the conversation. And thanks for joining us on Awakening with Brahma Kumaris. Have a really great day. Om Shanti.
If you wish to discuss your problem or have a question to ask or want to know your nearest Rajyoga Meditation Center, call us on 099 99 744 555. Om Shanti.